welcome back to another video. I feel like I'm really exposing myself because I have not been awake very long. I've been up since about 7:15. It's now 8:05. I literally jumped straight on my computer and did some replies this morning because I didn't have many to get through, so it's like, right, if I get those done first thing, then everyone's been replied to before they train today and everything, and then I had to feed Zuko, who's now at the door. But yeah, I wanted to jump on because it is Monday the 30th, I think, of January. Not January, December, not January yet. And today is the day I'm going to start my cut. Now, when I say start my cut, I'm going to do a week of kind of maintenance calories first, just to let my body settle and see where my body weight actually settles at, because obviously currently I'm not like a true body weight because I've just kind of been eating what I want over Christmas. I'll talk about that in a bit more detail, but I thought I would just jump on and say I have weighed myself. That's 89.9. So I kind of said to myself that I'm probably over 90 right now, and I was just coming to terms with that, which is fine. It's not the end of the world if I am. And I haven't actually tracked my food properly since before comp, which was the end of November. So it's been over a month of kind of, I don't want to say eating what I want, because I've not been eating like a complete idiot, but I've obviously just kind of been eating pretty much what I want, like thinking about fueling myself for the most part. But obviously it's just been Christmas as well, which doesn't help getting attacked. So yeah, I thought I would just jump on and give an update of where we're starting the cut. Week 1, possibly week 2, are just going to be tracking at like 2,500 calories. Let my body settle. I'm going to do higher fat days on my rest days, which is a Monday and a Friday, and then higher carb on the rest of my training days, and see how that goes, just because I enjoy fattier foods, but obviously they don't fuel you as well for your sessions. So I'm going to try that and see how that goes, but I will break that all down more in a bit more detail later in the video. Yeah, just thought I'd jump in and see where we're starting. Okay, so it is Tuesday afternoon, it is nearly 1. I've had a very productive day so far. So it's New Year's Eve today, just keep my camera. New Year's Eve today, I have a long list of things I want to get done today. Most important thing on the list though, is it will be Zuko's first walk today. So we're going to take him for like 15 minutes anyway, and I'm sure he's literally just going to sniff everything and not get very far. But this afternoon, we are going to be taking Zuko on his first walk, so I'm very excited for that. I want to sit down and talk through my cut. So this is the first video in my series where I'm going to be documenting my cut down. I don't know how light I'm gonna get. I'm not really gonna force anything. I'm still staying in the 84 category. I mean, that's like, I just wanna get my body weight setting point a little bit lower. I just wanna recomp a little bit, and I just need my dog to stop chewing everything he can find in the room that isn't her toy. Here he comes. So yeah, I wanted to just essentially cut, kind of recomp a little bit and get my body setting point a bit lower so that I have more longevity in the under 84 class is essentially the plan. It's something I've wanted to do for a long time, but I have struggled with my relationship with food quite a lot over the years. I think just gym culture and diet culture growing up, like, it's obviously not the healthiest environment to be in, especially when I used to work in a gym as well. It was always quite difficult to navigate. So I've spent a few years kind of improving my relationship with food anyway. And I'm definitely, like, my relationship with my body as well. And I'm definitely at a point where I don't, like, my self-worth and how I look are two completely separate things. So that's why I feel like I'm in a good place to do a bit more of a, not a harsh cut. Again, I still want to get a lot stronger, and I don't want to feel like I'm depriving myself of anything. So that is one thing that I think is really important to say. Like, this isn't like a New Year cut. I'm doing it now because this is just a convenient time. I've got a long time until I compete again, and I've just had a nice break from tracking after comp, obviously. So anyway, I'm going to talk through a bit of the plan. Obviously the plan may adjust over time. We'll see how things go, but starting off, so yesterday on the 30th of December, I was 89.9 kilograms, which is roughly where I thought I would be anyway, if I'm honest. This morning, so after one day of tracking, I was 89.5. So my body's already starting to settle. And as I mentioned previously in the video, the first week, possibly 2 weeks, I'm going to be tracking at 2,500 calories roughly. I'm looking more at macros than calories, so I'll tell my macro breakdown in a second. Can't get my words out. I'm getting so distracted by the dog in the background, I'm not gonna lie. He is just trying to destroy my house. Let me just sort him out. Okay, so, as I mentioned earlier in the video, rest days, which at the moment is a Monday and a Friday, I am going to be on slightly higher fats. And then on my training days, which is the rest of the week, I'm going to be on higher carb. So my macros at the moment on a training day are 250 carbs, 175 protein and 87 fat. What I try and do is stay within 5 grams of my carbs and protein goal and within 2 grams of my fat goal. As a general rule of thumb, that's where I aim to be. Obviously, if it's slightly off, it's not the end of the world. And then on my rest days, I'm on 200 carbs, 175 protein, and then 110 fat. Again, if it's not 100% accurate, it's not the end of the world, but that is the range I try and stick within. And then, like I said, within 5 grams of my carb, and he's literally chewing my tripod. This dog is a devil. A devil? A devil. I try and stay within 5 grams of my carbs and protein goal and then 2 grams of my fat goal. That is the general rule of thumb. Come here, devil. Here he is. This is the devil who makes concentrating much more difficult. So that is the plan. So macros at the moment are there. So the reason I'm having higher fat days is partly because fats are good for recovery. They're good for your hormone, like just your health basically. Like they are very good for helping you with nutrient absorption and stuff as well. And I do always have my fats relatively high. Like I'm not going to get to a point where my fats are super low because they are so important for your health anyway. But on training days, I want the extra carbs for fueling my sessions and just having that higher carb pre-workout meal. And then on my rest days, I enjoy fattier foods. So why not give myself slightly higher fat? Calories are just under 2,500, like literally just under anyway. So that's plenty of food for me. Main priorities with the carb and with my diet in general, which this is the same year round. Lots of micronutrients, high fiber foods, as many different plant varieties as I can get in my diet throughout the week, just to basically keep the quality of my food really good. It also means that my meals are more nutrient dense, they're not as calorie dense, which means I'm eating more volume, which means I'm not as hungry. Like that's a very important thing for me. So they are my macros for the first week, possibly 2 weeks, depending on what happens with my weight. Like if I get to the end of this week and I've kind of settled already and I'm not really dropping anymore, I will drop my food ready for like my next stage of macros, which I will then talk about at the time. I've roughly planned what my macros are going to be from each week, but obviously the plan might change depending on what's happening with the scales. Like if I'm dropping faster than expected, I'm not going to drop my food. Also, my activity, the dog is eating my chair. Let me pause again. So activity-wise, I'm not going to be massively focusing on my steps too much to begin with, which might sound a little bit silly, but it's basically just because we're only now going to be able to start walking Zuko. And to start with puppies, you're only allowed to walk them for 5 minutes per month of age. So he's 3 months, which means we're going to be walking him for 15 minutes up to twice a day. The first few walks, he's probably just going to be obsessing with sniffing everywhere anyway, so we're not really going to be walking very far. But obviously as he gets older, we're going to be walking more and more and more. So my activity is naturally going to increase through the cut anyway. But also with that, I am going to make an effort to be more active. I just don't want to hyperfixate on my step count at the moment, if that makes sense. So that is kind of the most important part to talk through right now. I'm not setting an exact aim of how much I want to lose each week. Roughly half a kilo a week would be ideal. Obviously the priority for me is always maintaining / getting stronger whilst cutting, which isn't the easiest of things to do, but it is absolutely possible as long as you just don't rush things. I have told myself, to be honest, by the end, I'm literally getting pulled around by a toy. By the end of the cut, I would like to be below 84. I would like to naturally sit below 84, and that will then give me the option to then eat back up, ready for comp season and things, but I'm not putting too much pressure on it. I'm just going to see what happens. In an ideal world, I've got the number like 81, 82 in my head, but I've not seen that number on the scales in years, so we're just going to see. I'm not forcing anything. I'm basically just trying to make myself naturally sit a bit lower. That is the goal. So we'll just see what happens. I'm going to document as much of it as I can, without obviously making it boring and making content too long. But yeah, I plan to document as much of it as I can. I'm also going to document more of like what I'm eating, meal prep and stuff like that. Not in this video because I feel like it would be too long of a video if I did that, but that is kind of the plan going forwards. So yeah, we're on day 2. I'm actually really enjoying being back to eating my normal meals as well. Also just sat here in a massive oversized hoodie that my boyfriend's mum actually gave me because I think she got it for Christmas so she doesn't wear them, so not complaining about that. Yeah, nothing else to really say. Training today, it is week 2 of the block, nothing crazy heavy. should be absolutely fine. I think I've got like a top set of 7 on squats. Got a high bar in. This will be the deciding week if I keep a high bar in or not. I'm going to see how my back feels from today / as the week goes on. If it doesn't feel great, we're scrapping high bar because it's just not worth the risk of potential injury down the line. But we will see. I think that's all I've got to say for now. Yeah, that's all I've got to say for now. Okay, so it is still Tuesday. It is 1:45. I'm just doing some work basically. I say work, I'm trying to film some content. I am forcing myself in the new year to put out more coaching content on Instagram. I avoid it because it's definitely like imposter syndrome, but also I worry that like people don't take in the content, so it's almost like pointless content, but I know that's not the case. And massive goal for me for 2025, like the main focus outside of like being the best mum to Zuko is business growth. Like the goal for 2025 is business growth through and through. Like I've hit some huge milestones this past year in both personal and business, but I want to make sure next year like the priority is business. So I am forcing myself to film some reels for Instagram, which I do not enjoy doing, and I don't know how they're going to turn out. You might never see them because I hated doing it, but I'm trying to force myself to just essentially dive into that platform a little bit more because that is where a lot of clients will come from. I've picked up some amazing clients through YouTube as well. I think with YouTube, the thing I love is that I can just sit and chat and be myself, and I don't really have to think about it. Like if you've watched my videos, I have verbal diarrhea. I am not good at doing short, snappy reels where I've got to just get to the point. Like that's not me. I like to talk, I like to converse. Apparently I like to just talk to a camera even. Like I'm chatty and I'm not so good at the short form content, but I know that that's quite an important thing to do, especially in this day and age when it comes to coaching. So I'm trying to force myself to film reels, and I just had to stop for a few minutes because like, well, firstly Zuko would not shut up when I was trying to film them, but also I just feel like really awkward filming them, which is kind of weird. It's weird how awkward I still feel talking to a camera. Like sitting chatting now, fine, don't think about it. If anyone else is in the house, awkward as hell. And when I say anyone else, it's literally my boyfriend. Like no one else really comes around. Like if my boyfriend is home, even if he's like in the kitchen or like the other side of the house, I won't film. Like I've only just started editing YouTube videos when he's around. Like that's how weird I am about it. But that's another thing I'm going to force myself to do more of in 2025. Like he encourages me to as well. He's always telling me to take my camera more places because I don't know if you've noticed, the camera rarely leaves this house. That wasn't the point of this. I just wanted to hop on and say that I'm really trying to film more content. And if there's any kind of real content, short form content that you guys like from coaches, let me know. Either message, leave a comment, can't think, or message me on Instagram and let me know what you like to see. Because the thing is with me as well, like I'm not a big fan of short form content. So I find it quite hard to know what other people like without specifically obviously asking them. So let me know what sort of stuff you want. And also if there's any topics you want content on, I'm going to do longer form content as well. So any reels that I make, I want to also make a longer form content version for YouTube because I also want to use 2025 to put more of my own knowledge out as well. Like I want it to be business growth in terms of obviously expanding my client base, but I also want to be business growth in terms of putting more of my knowledge out there for other people too. So yeah, let me know if there's anything you guys want to see. There is a programming video in the works. That is going to be out hopefully in the next few videos, to be fair. I'm probably going to be filming that later this week. Obviously got to plan it for when I'm home alone, you see, because I can't film when other people are in the house. But I've got an idea about how I want to do that. Originally, I was going to get a whiteboard and essentially just write it out and make it like a very basic step-by-step of how to program. Like I don't want it to be anything too in-depth or complex. Like I want it to be basic for people who are either just getting into the gym or just starting to take lifting a bit more seriously or just starting powerlifting that don't want to hire a coach but want to just kind of program for themselves a little bit first, figure out if they like it and go from there. So I'm probably going to film that in the next few days. That is the plan, and I'll get that out as soon as I can. So that is one video that is absolutely in the works, coming out very soon. But let me know what other areas you guys want to see, because that is not like, I really want to put more content out there, but I don't want it to just be kind of useless content. Like I want it to be helpful content too. I think I'm going to keep, well, I'm not decided yet. I'll probably keep those videos as their own separate videos and not include them in like the vloggy style of videos, but who knows, it depends. I'll see how I feel as I'm making them. I'm going to just stop talking because there was no point to this clip apart from I just wanted to do something that wasn't filming reels because I don't enjoy doing it. It is 20 to 6. So I am now about to start training, obviously, that's why I'm in here. Zuko had his first walk, and putting the harness on him is like a two-man job. He is not a fan. Obviously once it's on he doesn't care, but putting it on him he does not like. But we've practiced it a couple of times the last few days to try and get him used to it and get him to like walk around the house in it. But once we got out on the walk, obviously he was a bit nervous of things like the cars and stuff he was very scared of, and he was a bit unsure to start with on what we were doing, but then once he realised we were just kind of walking around, like he had a great time. He was sniffing everything, very sweet. So yeah, had a walk with him, and then he got back and he was exhausted. Also because it's New Year's Eve, we got back and fireworks started. So I'm very glad we walked him before they started, but to be honest, he didn't seem too bothered by them. He was kind of listening to what was going on, but he wasn't like nervous or scared. Then he literally just laid on my lap and fell asleep. So not bad, not bad. It's very cold. If you can probably hear the shutter blowing in the wind, it's very windy here. Not really in the mood to train, I'm not gonna lie, but I've got to just get it done. Top set of 7 on squats, I think it's at like 150, and then back off high bar, 7s at maybe 127, maybe 122, not sure, I think 122. And then bench, got 3 singles at 110, back off 5s at 100. This is all off the top of my head. I think that's right. Anyway, nothing to really say, just gonna kind of jump in and get it done because I want to get it done in quite good time. I don't think there's anything else to update on. I think that's it. I have nothing else to say. I'm just gonna get my session done because this video is definitely already long enough already.
Down by the schoolyard where the A crowd share Brianna's mindless moves. They talk about the spring break handle, yeah, Tijuana, here we come. My friends think she's so dumb or stupid, but I won't tell anyone what her and I got going on. Brianna's brother's buying beer, so freaking cool, can you believe? He'll bring his friends to college guys, our weekend plans are such a dream. My friends think she's so dumb and stupid, but I won't tell anyone. Not a soul that when we are alone, she's touching me. Well, I'm a sucker for it, give it to me. The way she's looking at me, she's so damn perfect. It's so damn worth it, the secret we keep. Yeah, I'm a sucker for it. So
Okay, so just finished squatting. I took my time a bit more tonight. I think that's where my back's been flaring up a lot recently, just because I've been rushing through everything. So tonight I made sure to take my time, especially with my bracing on my high bar, and just taking a bit more time between sets as well, because usually because high bar is so light, I'm like, oh, let's just go, go, go. And my back definitely feels better for it. Like it's still a little bit pumped up, but compared to the last couple of weeks, it is nothing. So I'm happy with that. I'll keep high bar in next week and see how it goes, providing I don't have any issues for the rest of the week with my back. So I did notice after my leg day on Sunday just gone, it definitely didn't feel great. But then I've got leg press in instead of pendulum at the moment, just because I need like a change mentally, and I quite enjoy leg press, and I think that's easier to push than pendulum is. Even though I think pendulum squat has a much better carryover to my actual squat, I just needed a bit of a break. And there's nothing wrong with obviously mixing the exercise selection up from time to time. But I think leg press does kind of put pressure on your lower back a little bit more than what pendulum would. So we'll kind of just see. There's options of what I can do to adjust things if it does continue to get worse or doesn't progress or get better, which I do think, to be honest, is getting a bit better. And I think even just going for a little walk today, like even though it was only like a 15-20 minute walk with Zuko, that would have helped. Like just the extra movement will help. And also obviously being back to tracking my food, like I already feel better. 2 days in, I already feel less sluggish. I already feel less inflamed. Like I feel just better in myself. And that will only obviously positively impact recovery too. So there's things there, like it's not, I'm just gonna see what happens basically. One thing I also did think to myself as well I was actually talking to my friends the other day, and low bar hasn't been feeling as natural the last few weeks, and I was like, oh, it's really annoying that it just doesn't feel that comfortable on my back, which it could just be down to the fact that I'm training in the cold. Like it is a lot colder here at the moment, so it could just be the fact that I'm obviously not quite as warmed up. Things just don't feel as smooth. Like generally speaking, when it's warmer, your body's gonna obviously feel better because you're more warmed up. Like the temperature in the room makes a difference. But I actually wonder if it's also just because I'm doing like less low bar volume, so it's just not like less skill practice, I guess. So I'm kind of not detrained, but I'm just not as used to being in that position, so it just feels a little bit more uncomfortable. So there's another reason why I might bring low bar back in for my back offs on this day as well. we'll just see. There's no reason to make changes quite yet. I'm probably going to run the rest of this block before I make any changes anyway. But other than that, like, things felt really good today. The 150 for 7 was super comfortable. I was a bit nervous actually, because I was like, 150 for 7 still isn't that light. Like, it wasn't long ago that was a really scary set for me, and it's now my week 2 weight, again, on a block that I'm taking huge jumps week to week. So it's like, I was a bit nervous, but I didn't need to be. It was so comfortable, it was really easy. So, yeah, pretty happy. Now I'm gonna jump into bench. Don't think I've got anything else to say. Just gonna get bench done. 3 singles at 110 like I thought, and then back offs at 100 like I thought as well. Obviously providing everything feels good, but I'm sure it will.
Such a guiding goddess could get anyone she likes, but when she's looking at me like that, I know she's only mine. My friends think she's so dumb and stupid, but I won't tell anyone. Her hands are in my hair, whispering in my ear. I won't tell anyone, not a soul. But when we are alone, she's touching me. Well, I'm a sucker for it, give it to me.
Okay, so literally just finished training. Bench was okay. It didn't feel overly natural tonight. Like, I was struggling with consistency from rep to rep, and it just didn't feel overly brilliant, but I still managed to do 3 singles at 110 on my like 2nd week of the block. Back on 5s at 100, which were absolutely fine. The only reason they didn't feel amazing is because I kind of rushed them, which is just typical me. The first set as well, on the final rep, I did also catch the rack, which didn't help. But bench felt okay. I just think it didn't feel overly natural, which does happen sometimes. If it continues to be a regular pattern, I think I'm going to add in a 4th bench day. Probably feet down. My back doesn't hurt when I do feet down bench anymore. Like, that was a reason why I added in last and press. I think potentially adding in a 4th day, just extra frequency, extra skill practice. Obviously, it'll be a really light day, just so I don't really induce any extra fatigue. It's just that little bit of extra skill practice, but not making any changes yet. I'm going to finish this block, assess how things are, and go from there. I'm trialling a more aggressive approach to this block. I'm getting so distracted by the wind blowing on the garage door. I'm trialling a more aggressive approach to bench this block. Anyway, I've said this in a previous video, like, my lifts are, like, bench I'm pushing a bit heavier than I normally would. Like, normally I would not be doing 110 on week 2. But this block I am, just to see how it goes, just to kind of boost my confidence, because I think I've got the strength for a lot more than what I'm actually benching. I just need the confidence to load it, which is kind of the goal for this block. So we're just gonna see. But that's my last session of the year complete. It was all right, it was decent, I can't complain. I feel good now, my back's absolutely fine. My shoulder is okay. It's actually my other shoulder this week. Normally my right shoulder feels worse. My left shoulder feels a little bit uncomfortable, but not much. Like, it's not pain, like I know it will go off by the end of the day. It was just where I was being lazy on reps and I was like flaring a bit too much and I wasn't like in as good of a position. So yeah, I'm happy, no complaints. It was a decent session. Final session of the year complete. Gonna wrap the video up here. We're doing nothing for New Year's. We don't really do anything for New Year's. Plan is let's just get a good night's sleep. So, well, try. Zuko's been really good in the night recently. Like, we get up in the middle of the night to take him out to the toilet because he's so young, he can't really hold the toilet for that long yet. But when we've been trying to get him up, he's been sound asleep. So he does still go out, like, we wake him up and take him out. But I think tonight we're gonna just trial seeing if he wakes us up. So hopefully, fingers crossed, we get a full night's sleep with no accidents indoors. But we'll see. So yeah, I'm gonna wrap the video up here. That is the end, nothing to really say. If you've enjoyed, let me know. Leave a like, comment, subscribe. I will see you in a few days for the next video.